Hello friends, welcome back to Rain City Wargaming. I'm Garrett.
I'm Jake.
And we're heading to the Grand Narrative.
Garrett, what is the Grand Narrative?
I'm so glad. The Grand Narrative is a narrative event, as the name suggests, put on by Games Workshop as the end of their US Open series. They did one last year, doing one this year, hopefully they keep doing it.
I went to the Grand Narrative last year, and the framing was that we were part of the assault and the defense of the Zabrin system. We were split into Imperium and Chaos and Xenos, and we had battles across several different, there was a jungle, and there was a Forge World area, and there was the ice plains there was the crashed tank graveyard. Each faction had leaders that were dressed up in cosplay. A lot of the players, myself included, were dressed up. It was a really good time, and so we've got a lot more of our club going as well.
A whole ton more. And it was kind of like an impromptu gathering last year from what I heard. This year it's much more intentional.
Yeah,
We've been
absolutely.
fighting this for months.
We've got a whole battle group together.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of us have started new armies, myself included.
So, we did a practice game, since I haven't played very much of my sisters at all since 10th edition.
And I wanted to tweak a couple final things on my list. And I think I might be a little bit too competitive.
So we're gonna show you that game, and we're also gonna tell you a little bit more about each of our armies.
Mm-hmm. So stick around, enjoy the ride, and we'll see you again real soon.
So last year in the Zabrin system, the Order of the Nightshade Spirit, which is my group of Sisters of Battle, on the last day, they received a transmission from Scrap Code. And he was looking for a few folks to participate in a special battle. Throughout the week, there had been a group doing learning to paint Warhound Titans. And on the last day, they assembled them up. They brought them out on a parade field to put this big board together and had all our armies lined up for an honor guard for the Titans that are making their way out of the Zabrin system. A certain few of us flipped over a coin to show that the Titans had been betrayed. However, a short ways into the attack, the Sisters of the Order of the Nightshade Spirit realized something was wrong when the Emperor's Praetorians turned on them. Clearly they were on the wrong side of the battle. Canoness Emiliana realized that High Priest Cordero, me in my cosplay, but also the mini that was a little Ministorum priest, had betrayed the sisters, given them false information. She struck him down, rejoined the side of the Emperor's Praetorians, and fought against the other armies that were trying to destroy the Emperor's mighty war machines. It was all a trick. In the intervening time since the loss of the Zabrin system, the Order of the Nightshade Spirit was disgraced. They were censured. Canoness Emiliana was sent into some of the hardest, worst war zones in the Imperium as penance, and she didn't survive. Palatine Julienne steps up and takes the battlefield promotion for the role of Canoness for the Order. But not long after that, an interloper arrived, Inquisitor Moscovich. The Inquisitor has his own plans for the Order and his own secrets, and Palatine Julienne is wary, but Inquisitors have ultimate authority. They answer only to the Emperor. And so she's caught in a pickle and is trying to figure out what to do next. Then they have found themselves in the Palat system, which is where the Grand Narrative unfolds this year.
So I'm bringing my Stormbringers. These are my homebrew Space Marines that I've spent far too long coming up with the paint scheme and lore behind through a couple different iterations. And my basic goal was to make them not look like Ultramarines. And I think I succeeded on that. But why am I here? Well, Ilthius Dowerhammer, my captain, who is proxying as Dante in this instance, is hunting a group of traitor Space Marines. And he doesn't know much about where they are at or what they're doing. He just knows that they are spreading a lot of bullshit. And the Stormbringers, in the lore that I've written for them, they are Space Marine hunters. They are specifically designed in their doctrine to hunt traitor Space Marines, and they don't give a fuck about anything else. A lot of our weaponry is high AP and high damage. So for example, I have a lot of plasma in my Hellblasters. I've got a lot of high AP in Carmine Blades from my Sanguinary Guard that are totally Sanguinary Guard, trust me. I have a bunch of tanks that are meant really to deal with more Space Marine vehicles and Space Marines themselves. The Stormbringers themselves are not a successor of any of the first founding legions. And that sounds a little strange to say because normally you do have to be like, oh, this is a Dark Angel successor. You're Blood Angels because I'm running Blood Angels. I'm not. The Stormbringers are the 21st Legion. I have designed my own Primarch by the name of Warden, and these are his sons and daughters. The two biggest lore points for them so far is they don't care your gender as long as you pass the test, because their gene seed is hyper violent. It is very aggressive. So they kind of have to just churn through as many people as possible, try and see if what takes, and they'll just bring you in. And the other thing is they are themselves incredibly aggressive and very, to the point, blunt and focused. They do not like the Imperium of Man as it is right now. They believe it's antithetical to the goals that the Imperium intended to be back during the Great Crusade. And because of that, they don't fuck with the ecclesiarchy, they don't like the Inquisition, they don't do any of that. It's everybody's in their way from doing what they are designed to do. And to that end, Inquisitors have gone missing. Sisters of Battle have been killed. As long as Inquisitor Moscovich and his sisters don't try to interfere with what the Stormbringers are doing, they don't really care.
For our deployment, we drew Sweeping Engagement, which is that nice long board edge diagonal deployment. For our primary mission, we got Purge the Foe, which is a hold one, hold more, kill one, kill more for 4 VP each. And for our mission rule, we got Targets of Opportunity, which meant we would have 3 secondaries each turn, which pretty much guarantees we're going to max secondary this game. So because it's a narrative event, in my list, I was mostly just trying to avoid named characters. That ended up resulting in me going pretty wide to fill in 2,000 points. I've painted a bit more since then, and so my list will look a little different for the actual event. For Garrett's list, he went deep into some vehicles. We've got Repulsors, Impulsors, a Gladiator Lancer, filled out with here his Sanguinary Guard, some Hellblasters, and that's Dante in the center there. Check out the Portland RTT video for a breakdown of his list. As far as deployment, I mostly tried to hide here, tucking my units into the buildings, hiding behind the boxes. I was very scared of all the shooting from the tanks and the Canis Rex that Garrett had brought. Garrett, on the other hand, just sort of lined up where he'd have good lines of fire, sort of near the front of his deployment. Wasn't really scared of any long-range shooting that I had. So going into turn 1, Garrett goes first, and he basically just takes the repulsor, puts it in the middle of the board, and just secures that pretty much for the rest of the game. In response, my sisters decide to go out to the sides. If he's going to control the middle, I'll take those sides and try and hold him down as best I can.
All I have to do is roll force.
With some multi-meltas, we're able to take out the Impulsors, spilling out the Hellblasters onto the board. Garrett responds by bringing the Canis Rex up to that right objective, and mostly ends up clearing the sisters there, taking the point for himself.
All I needed was to roll force.
In response, the sisters on the left side clear out those Hellblasters and bring up some Paragon Warsuits for support. On Garrett's third turn, his Sanguinary Guard, the Roost Hound, are able to deep strike into my backline and charge onto my home objective. Now, because of terrain, they're not entirely able to clear the units there, but it's only a matter of time before they wrap around and start to chew them up. Meanwhile, his Canis Rex blows up my Rhino, spilling out some Repentia onto the board, but they're able to charge back into the Canis Rex and get their revenge, taking it out and taking back that point on the right side.
All I had to do was roll force. And I did this time.
Lastly, we measure out a deep strike and a charge for my Zephyrim, but we end up, I think, rolling that back, and I instead drop them up into Garrett's deployment to get some secondary points, since they really weren't going to do much against those things.
Alrighty. So, we assumed, like, best case for me coming out of, like, turn 4, where, like, everything over here comes and these Sanguinary Guard get deleted, which is a tall order for just some Paragons and some Celestians, but it could happen. Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things.
Especially if you get enough CP for defensive stuff. But, like, if that happened, we clear that, so we get to hold our back for a bit.
We get a few more. I mean, we're both maxing secondary with this mission rule. And it would have been 90-10. With still quite a good number of models on the board. Those, Zephyrin, would have been gone. We assume the Lancer just deleted them.
The Lancer and the
Guns.
Repulsor.
Yeah.
So many guns.
So many guns, and one of them is anti-fly.
I haven't even looked at the Lancer's data
The
sheet.
Lancer has an anti-fly gun.
I haven't looked at that shit at all.
But yeah, I 90-100 is a high-scoring game for Sisters being bad. But the mission rule, I mean, you're kind of guaranteed to max secondaries.
And me not having to move my Repulsor at
Just
all.
sitting it in the middle the whole game.
The whole
you
game.
never got area denial.
Nope.
Or deploy.
Nope. I did get deploy and I wasn't able to do it.
It was earlier. Yeah. So
Yeah, in order to counter all the tanks, bring tanks, which sucks. And even though my Gladiator Lancer isn't really a Lancer right now, I'm getting one. It's coming soon. And the list feels fine. Like the Hellblasters, I need to play a little more cautious with them and the Impulsors, just because they die right off the bat, like they did in this game. I feel like maybe giving them the 5-up invuln would have helped, but missiles are better. And Canis Rex is just a motherfucker. Technically, I forgot Hector.
we forgot Hector.
I forgot Hector, so you wouldn't have controlled that anymore. So
Yeah.
Hector died.
Hector died.
I keep forgetting about
That's
Hector.
canon.
I still need to paint him. I'm just gonna bronze wash and like sepia,
Yeah.
whatever bullshit. But yeah, Sisters, I don't even know what you would do. Like bring more Meltas?
It's interesting because I think like anything that's even remotely competitive for a Sisters list has the epic characters. It has Morven,
Yeah.
it has Chapter St. Catherine, and it has Celestine.
Right.
One or more of those. And so trying to avoid those for the grand narrative, because it's my personal, I don't want to have these, Celestine and Morven and the Triumph are canonically not in the, I forget the name of the system, right? Like
Whatever it is.
whatever system it is, they're not there, so it doesn't make sense to me. So without that, it's a little funky. I do think I'm a little wide, like, because I just sort of have to bring like everything, because those are high point models that I just don't have.
Right.
And everything, so I kind of have to go wide. And so I do probably just want to like assemble some more. Honestly, the Plain Jane Battle Sisters, I mean, they get picked up, but just lots of cheap bodies. Have them.
Cheap bodies. Can your opponent deal with all the cheap bodies? Can they deal with the the amount of miracle dice you're generating, right?
Yeah, if I'm on 3 points with them, I'm
That's-
getting 4 miracle dice on my turn.
And then if they die, there's another
And then
one, right?
another extra when they die. So like I think that's the move, and I can put some
The
palatines in them if I want. Like there's a couple different.
the war suits with the maces don't feel bad.
The Warships with the Maces felt quite good.
I mean, yeah, they hit on 4s.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I bring a few more Paragons.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because they take forever to assemble and paint, and I don't have a ton of painting time right now in the narrative. I don't feel terrible about the list. I think I'm gonna lose a lot of games in the narrative, but I'm gonna have a good time. So
And that's the point, right?
right, that's the point of the narrative.
Well,
Garrett, any last thoughts?
I hate it when I do this because I never have any thoughts. My head is empty. There is no thoughts.
I only ask because I don't have any last thoughts. So by asking, I get off scot free.
I think I have more thoughts about my list.
Yeah.
But my biggest takeaway from playing every game I've played with my Stormbringers in 10th edition, I don't really have fun. And it's nothing against the Blood Angels since it's Sanguinius. They do everything they're supposed to do. Whatever I touch in melee dies for the most part. And then the shooting, it's a vehicle meta, right? And that's the hardest part. Is I don't really have a lot of answers to that. There really
That stands. You scored a 100-point game.
That's the second or third time I've done that,
It's a good list.
and it's been okay.
I think at the for these casual level games, like it's a good list, and it doesn't feel too.
It's not oppressive.
It didn't feel oppressive, and it didn't feel too like over tweaked, like you were like actually bringing like a
Right.
skew.
I feel like once like the Space Marine meta kind of levels out a little more, this is actually a fine list.
All right, sign us off.
All right, guys, stay safe, stay warm, support your local businesses and charities, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye bye now.